This meeting is being recorded. Okay, so last class we have been discussing about how to call the server-side controller in Lightning Component using the client-side controller. If you remember, we were passing the hard-coded value in order to create the account. So for calling the server side, there are 4 steps. The first step is, as usual, we have to call the method and then set the parameter. And the third one is invoke the callback method for interaction and then enqueue action. So these are the 4 steps that we have to declare in the Lightning controller in order to call the server side. So yesterday we have everything. We were passing the values as hard-coded. Name, rating, and phone number, everything is hard-coded, right? So today I'll create we'll see how to capture the input parameter from the user. So there are different ways which we can do it. So I'll show it in 2 ways, by declaring the attribute, and the second one is, when I say declaring the attribute, that means declaring the primitive data type. And the second one is declaring as a sobject data type. So I'll use the same component that we have done yesterday. Let's use the same create an account controller. So for now, what I'm doing is I'm declaring the primitive data type. So in order to declare the attributes, I have to use the aura colon attribute, name. I'll just use the name and the type equal to string. I'll just take 2 other attributes. So let's assume that we have 3 attributes here, name, phone, rating. Okay, yesterday we were passing the hard-coded values, name, rating, phone number. Okay, those are the 3 attributes I have declared with the data type string. Okay, now let me create the Lightning card. Title equal to account creation. Just a second. Okay, sorry. So Lightning card equal to title, account creation. These all we have learned. So I'm just using as a recap purpose. Then I'll go for the Lightning input. So before that, let me declare it as a Lightning layout. Lightning layout. And then inside this, we have a Lightning layout item. Okay. Now let me declare the Lightning input. For the Lightning input, label name is, the first one is account name. Let's use the value. I have an attribute which is a name. For using the attribute, curly braces, exclamation, v dot name. So I need two other inputs. One is a phone and another one is rating. So for phone, I have a attribute name as phone. And for rating, I have a attribute name as rating. Okay. So this is in the Lightning layout item. Let's declare the size. Let me use the size as 6 and padding equal to around small. So this we already seen how it displays this. Then I'll use the another Lightning item to display the output values, whatever the user has entered. To show the information. User entered account name. Will be, I have to use the value here because as soon as the user entered the information, it will be stored into the value. So this value I have to use. User entered account phone number. So what is the my attribute name? Phone. User entered account rating. My attribute name is V rating. Okay. I'll add a break in between this. If I do not add, it will be displayed continuously. So I wanted to display the values step by step, line by line. So let's use the break here. Let's save it. Okay, I have an input and I'm showing the output. And let's use the result attribute also. Or a column attribute name equal to result and my type equal to string. Okay, so I'll print the result also here. V dot result. No component named or a attribute. Okay, so this is my component. Nothing, I have not used any new command here. These all commands which we have used till now, how to use the lightning card and the layout item. In layout, I'm not using the multiple rows equal to true because this is a single row. If you count the size here, 6 plus 6, 12. So it is a single row. I do not have a multiple rows here. So that's the reason I'm not using the multiple row equal to true. And then inside the layout, I have divided two layouts by adding the padding as around small. And for the first one, I'm asking the information to user to enter the details. And the second layout item is just displaying the data, whatever the user has entered. Now, as soon as user enter the data, I need a button here. Let me use another button. Let's keep that. In order to use the Lightning button inside the card, I'll use the aura set in my attribute name equal to actions, because I wanted to display the button top corner. So wherever the by default actions will be placed, at the same place I wanted to display my lightning button. So let's use the lightning button label. Let me use the submit, and then on click of the button, what should happen? On click of the button, I wanted to call a function. Let's use the name as handle submit. Okay. Level. I have to close this. That's it. Okay, this is the component that I have created. I'm just using the attribute that I have declared it. I'm just using those attributes to capture the information whatever user enters into the Lightning input. And then I wanted to display the information. Okay. Now I'll go back to the controller. I have a new function here, which is handle submit, and function parameters. I need component, I need event. I'm going to use for helper, so I'll use helper here. Okay, this is my function name and comma separated by each function. Okay, so now from the controller, I'll be calling the helper. So before that, let's go to the helper. I'll use the different helper here. Handle helper submit. This is my function name in the helper. Let's use helper handle submit. Okay. Function and the parameter that I need is component. Okay. So component comma event comma separated. So what is the logic that I need here? So here also I need to call the Apex controller, right? So for Apex controller, I need to pass the data. So here I was passing the hard-coded value. Let's pass the user enter details. In order to pass, what are the steps that I need to do? Step 1, call the method. Step 2, pass parameters. Step 3, invoke callback. Step 4, enqueue action. Okay. So let's go and declare the call the method. So where action equal to component dot get.
So sorry to disturb you. Actually, I
Yeah,
have one doubt.
yeah, yeah.
Yesterday, what I did is I have given the same in the account. Like I have given method name is create new account, and coming to the controller also, I have given the same create new account.
Okay.
So is there? I got an issue like it is going to the infinite loop. So can't we give the same name in the controller and as well as in the Apex class?
No, that's what I have mentioned yesterday in the class. The class name and method name has to be unique.
Okay.
Even for if we are giving the component function name and
Mhm.
the Apex class method name should not match. This should not match and this should not. Everything should be unique. If my
Got it.
class name is EL underscore 1504 underscore create account, make sure this is not same as this.
Yeah, that is I understood. But when I go to the
And
controller
also,
also,
yeah, this
oh,
also has to be unique.
even the helper also.
Yes,
Oh, got it.
because it's keep on continuously executing. Component dot get C, which represents the Apex controller, which represent the component controller, which represent the Lightning component.
Okay.
So everywhere it will try to find out. So this method, this function name and Apex class function method name should not be matching it.
Okay. Got it.
So everything should be unique.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm calling the controller Apex controller method. Same method I'm calling here. I'm not changing anything in the server side. The reason is the first method is passing the hard-coded values, and second method, whatever the user has entered, I'm passing those values. But server side logic doesn't change. I'm just getting the parameter that is passed by the Lightning component, taking the data and inserting it. So server side logic remains same for now. So call the method, and next one is set the params. In order to set the params, I have to use action dot set params. What are my attributes? I have a name, and then I have a phone. Let's use rating, and then I have a phone.
So the order also should be same, right? Whatever we
Yes.
gave in the Apex class.
Yes, Cody. So whatever the order of the parameter that we are expected in the Apex controller, it should be matching here. In case if I write here phone, once it call the controller or the method, the rating will be taken as a 99904. So whatever
Okay.
the sequence of the parameter that I have, the same sequence we need to pass it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for the name, here what I need to pass is I have a name that's stored into the name attribute. In order to get the information, let me get here. So where name equal to CNAME equal to component dot get v dot name. Okay, let me use this CNAME here. Comma separated. Next, I need a rating. Rating where I'm storing v dot rating attribute. Go to helper, get the rating. In order to get, I have to use component dot get v dot rating. Let's use this C rating here. Comma separated. Then I have a phone where I'm storing the phone, attribute phone. Okay, let's get the phone equal to component dot get v dot phone. So I have to use, let's use the C phone here. Okay. Now we are using, we are setting the parameters here. Name, rating, C rating, phone, C phone. If you compare the hard code and passing the data, if we are hard coding it, we have to put everything in the string. In case if I am passing the parameter from a Lightning component, then it has to be without double quotes. Because if I put this double quotes, what will happen is while creating the account, it will take name hard-coded value as CNAME. So make sure if we are passing it from the Lightning controller, we always have to take it without double quotes. Okay, now set params is done. Next step is invoke callback. In order to invoke callback, action dot callback, set callback. What is the keyword that we have to use? This comma function response. Okay, now open this. What is the logic that I wanted to write here? I wanted to get the logic will be same, whether it is hard coded or whether I'm passing the data here. The hard coded value is, the logic within the set callback is same. So I need to get the first state. Yesterday we have seen enqueue action state, different type of enqueue action state. So in order to get the state, I have to use response dot get state. Just to recall, what are the different enqueue action state is, we have a new, which is like it just started or it created, not yet processed it. State equal to running means it is in the progress, it's not yet completed. State equal to success means action is executed successfully without any issue. State equal to error means we have some error from the server side. Whenever server side returns the value, there are some errors which we have received. Incomplete, server did not return the value yet. It's not yet completed. Aborted means there is some connection issue between the client side and server side. Between the client side and server side, there is some issue. It can be anything, performance or anything, or network. It can be any issue. Okay, so these are the different action state for the enqueue action. So one, I need to capture the information only when my state equal to success. If my state equal to success, what I wanted to do, I wanted to store the result value in result. I have a attribute called result. So in order to set the attribute, component dot set v dot result, comma, I can directly set here, or I can set into the variable like I did it here. So I have set the var res equal to response dot get return value, or I can directly write here because my return value is just a single line. If I have a collection of values, if I have a list, if I have a set, or if I have a map that is result is getting from the Apex. In that case, it is better to store in the variable and get whatever is needed in the attribute, only get that particular information. For now, I need all the data, whatever is written from the server side. So I'll just use response dot get return value. What is this function? Okay. So only change compared to yesterday program, today program is we are passing the value that entered by the user. Okay, yesterday we did hard-coded value. Let me go to my app. This is the component that I'm using it. Click on preview. Okay, so let's enter the details. Name John, phone number +41535546. Rating critical. Okay. See the structure, the submit button is coming here because I have used the aura set and attribute equal to actions. I did not say go right or go left. I did not say anything to the lightning button. I'm just using the lightning button within the aura set. So which by default, it places the submit button here. Coming to new account is on top out of this card and it is showing here at the bottom. And we are not using aura set for the button. That's the reason once it completes the card, then it is showing the new account. If I say attribute equal to footer, then it will display here. Okay. So now I'll click on a submit button. See, as soon as I enter the details, it is keep on showing me. Let me show here. But the result is not coming. So right now, user entered account name is blank. But as soon as I enter the details, so let's take the account name as John. See, as soon as I type here, it's displaying here. The reason is I'm taking the direct attribute value here. So user is typing in the, whatever he is typing, it is storing in the vname. So whatever the vname contains, it displays in the user enter details. But coming to result is the one which user is not entering the details. Okay, I'm not capturing from the user enter details. Phone number plus 8645 something, and then rating is hot. See, as soon as I enter details, it is keep on displaying the information, but result I did not see. Click on a submit. I'm not getting the result because I'm not calling that controller here, handle submit. I just initialize the helper handle submit. Okay, I have written the logic and also I have not written the enqueue action step 4. So let's go for
Even in the state method, you have to put get state as capital, right?
right. So enqueue action. And then I have to pass the whatever the variable that I'm declaring while getting the component, that the same thing I have to pass it. Then I have to use the state, get state, yes. Okay. Now I have the logic which is written in the helper class in order to call the server side class and get the return value, everything I'm storing here. So let's call this helper function from the controller. In order to call the helper function, I have to use the keyword helper dot function name. And what is the parameter that is expected here is component comma event. So I need to pass only these two parameters from the controller. Okay, now let's go ahead and refresh. Pat plus 431251 rating cold. Okay, let's result. Component spelling is wrong. Where it is in the handle submit. Somewhere I have written the component name incorrectly. Account name Smita, phone number something, and rating I'll give hot, and then click on submit. Okay, account is created successfully, and this is the ID. I'll copy this ID. Let's go back to the Salesforce and let's paste it here. So Smita, this is the account, it is created. I just passed the account name, rating, phone number. No other fields I have not passed, right? So it created. We can also use the flag here. Means I have a two lightning layout items here, okay? This section should be displayed once I click on a submit button. Like once I have the result, once the account is created, then only I wanted to show this information. What I can do is I can declare one attribute here, aura attribute name equal to result flag. Okay, type, I need it Boolean because it's just a true and false. Default, I'll set it as a false. Fine. And this flag, I wanted to use it in order to display this section. So here, basically, if my result flag attribute equal to true, then only I wanted to display the output of this. So this is a if condition, right? If else condition. So in order to use the if else conditions, as I have already explained, I have to use the aura if. Okay, in order to verify the condition, I have to use is true. Is true equal to what is the attribute that I'm going to cross verify? Result flag. Okay, if my result flag equal to true, then only show this data. Let's take out this, put it at the end of the lightning layout item. Boolean. In case if my value is false, okay, by default it is false. What should it display? So what I have to use, aura set attribute equal to else, right? But for now, I'm not using the aura set. I'll just use the aura if. Because by default, I wanted to show this blank. If this flag is false, I do not want to show any information. So in that case, I do not want to use the aura set attribute equal to else condition. And now take this, copy this attribute, go to the helper. So if my state equal to success, once I get the information, then set my Boolean attribute to true. Now let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, by default, it is not showing any text messages. If I enter anything also, if I enter Melissa, phone number as 34332, and rating hot, as soon as I click on submit, then it is displaying this component. So once my data is successfully came, that means my enqueue action state equal to successful, then only I'm showing this particular layout item. Clear? So let's assume that what are we doing here? For each input, I'm using the one attribute. Okay. So like this, for example, on the account, I have 100 fields. Right now, we have taken only 3 fields. For 3 fields, I have declared the attribute. For example, if I have 100 fields, I do not want to create 100 attributes. Okay. Because if I create 100 attributes till 30th line or something, it will show that all the code is as a aura attribute. So to take out that kind of a, if we have, like, it's all based on the requirement. If your requirement says that I need only 5 fields or 3 fields, let's go with the declaring the attribute like a primitive data type attribute, type equal to string, boolean, whatever it is needed. But if the requirement says like I need complete account information from the user, whatever the account fields are there on the account, I wanted to show everything to the user using the Lightning component. For that, change here. I'll use the same class. Okay, let's go ahead and create another method here. So my access modifier is public, static, and return value, let's use string. And this is a call account. Let's use call account. Now the parameter, I do not want each and every parameter here. I just need a complete account information from the Lightning component. Okay, my data type is account. I need complete account information. So let's use the string result, because this is the one which I'm going to return it. And let's use the try catch. In case if it fails, it should be smart to catch the errors. Catch exception E. Okay. Now I have try catch. So let's go ahead and insert the account. I need not to do initialization again like this, a dot name, a dot rating, a dot phone. I do not want to do all of those. I just wanted to do insert ACC. Whatever it is coming from the Lightning component, I just wanted to take that and insert it. No other logic in the server side. And my result is successfully created. Okay. Not double quotes, single quotes, this should be. And if it is a failure, let's use the result equal to e dot get message. And at the end, I'll return the result. Okay. Now this is the logic that I have written. In order to my Lightning component to call this method, I have to use annotation @aura enabled. Then only my Lightning component controller able to call this particular method. Okay, now I have the backend logic is ready. Let's go to the Lightning component. I'll create a new component. So for starting is LC underscore 1604 underscore, and let's use Lightning new account. This is my component name. Submit. I do not need the description, so I'll close this. By default, component will be open. In order to call my Apex controller, the keyword is controller equal to my Apex class name. This is the class name. Okay. What are the attributes that I need here? I do not want to use the primitive data type. I wanted to use the sobject data type in the Lightning component. Okay. So our attribute name equal to, let's use it as a ACC, and type here. In order to use the sobject data type, right now I'm using the standard account object. So I'll use the account, and the default equal to sobject type equal to account. This we have already discussed. What is this sobject type account, right? So we all know that. So I have declared the account data type attribute, right? So let's create the Lightning card. Title equal to account information. Let's use this. Close it. Now inside the Lightning card, I'll just use the Lightning input and one button. That's it. Lightning input. Label equal to account name. Value equal to. So just to recap, till now what we were using it, account name equal to whatever the attribute name is there, I'm just directly taking that attribute here and storing the information in that attribute. But right now I have only one attribute, which is a data type of account, ACC. If I have to store in sobject exclamation v dot acc dot name. Okay. Now I'll take another two Lightning input. One is phone, acc dot phone, take the API names here, not the field label names here. If the label name is small p, phone like this, and if the capital API name is capital P. So if you use field name, it doesn't work. So we always have to use the field API name. Then let's use the description. So account description. Okay, now I'll use the lightning button. 3 inputs are fine. I'll simply put the lightning button. I'm not using the aura set here. So lightning button label equal to submit, and on click of this submit, I wanted to call lightning controller function. So c dot handle submit. Let's close this. So my component is ready. So I have one attribute which is the data type as a subject, that is the standard account name. And I have a lightning card. I'm using the 3 inputs where user can enter the details. And I have a one button. As soon as the user enter the details, I can click on this button. On clicking on this button, what it should happen? Now my UI is ready. Now I'll go back to the controller in order to start implementing the business logic. So I'll use my function name as handle submit, function component event helper. So I'll call the helper from the lightning controller. Let's go to the helper handle submit. Okay, I need component comma event. Okay, so as soon as the user enter the details, the values are stored into this attribute, right? Whether it is a name, phone number, description, everything will be stored into the ACC. Let's go to the helper and let's declare the variable account details equal to component dot get v dot acc. Okay, I'm storing the component details. What is the next step here? The steps will be same in order to call the server side. What is my server side method name? Call account. Okay, so first thing is that I need to call the account. Let's declare the action here. In order to call the server side controller, I have to use the component dot get c dot my server side method name. Okay, once I call the method, the second one is action dot set params, right? So what is the parameters that I'm passing it here? Only one parameter, which is a account data type. So ACC column. I'm already storing the account details into the one of the variable which is called as a account details. So let's pass this information that contains all the information whatever the user has entered. Now the third step is action dot set callback. Okay, standard keywords are this comma function parameter is response and then curly braces. Right now, I do not want to write anything. Once I get the response, I do not want to do anything. Basically, I wanted to pass the information that comes from the user. Okay, for example, if there are no logic, leave that. No need to write anything. And the final fourth one is $a dot NQ action. So only these 4 steps to call Apex class. Sorry. So only these 4 steps, if you remember it, inside the logic, it's all depending on the real-time requirement, what needs to be done, everything. So, but basic thing is that call the method, store it in one variable, set params, set callback, NQ action. So these are the key 4 rules that we have to follow every time whenever we call the Apex controller. So if I have a logic, once I get the response based on the state, I wanted to store that information into one attribute, then I can do same thing whatever I have written. So first thing is that I need to get the state. Equal to, in order to get the state, my response dot get state. Okay. And if it is successful, then only I wanted to capture the data. Where result equal to my response dot get return value. $13 $a dot NQ action. Okay, done. I got the response. If I wanted to display, I can just do the console dot log output. What is my return value? RES. Okay. And let's call this helper method in the controller. How to call this function? Helper dot function name, and what are the parameters that are expected? Component comma event. Okay. So this is the basic. Now let me use this component in my application. Update preview. Let's click on inspect, go to console, clear all the errors, clear console. Okay, now let's enter the account name, Koti, phone number +91. Okay, account description, Lightning Aura. Click on submit. Output is successfully created. So that's what I'm returning to the Lightning controller. So what to use the attribute and where to store the values, it's all depending on the requirement. Again, if your requirement says that all the fields, like if I have on the account 100 fields are there or 200 fields are there, if they wanted to show 200 fields on the form, so then by default it is better to go with the ACC and type as a sobject account. But in case if they wanted to show just 5 fields or 4 fields, still you can use the ACC. But if you have any logic or anything, some customization is there, then you can use the primitive data type instead of a subject. Any questions so far?
Good. I don't have any questions.
Okay, so just let me give you the assignment. So right now we have implemented this, okay? So account name is Brian and the phone number is +872312. Rating is hot. Click on submit. So this is what we have created right now, okay? The assignment is, after entering this information, once user click on submit, clear this data. Whatever user has entered, clear this data and show it here. This has to show whatever the previously user has entered. For example, right now I entered the brand, some phone number and rating. I clicked on submit. As soon as I click on submit, this layout is enabled and showing the information. And as soon as this information shows, clear this out. Clear this out. But it has to display the values here.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the assignment today.
Okay.
Tomorrow we do not have a class. We'll connect on Monday. Let me stop recording.